Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got game 1 of a best of 3. It is from the Gigabyte nVidia invitational and it is between the legendary EmpireKas, who is the green Terran player in the top left, and the awesome scary Zerg player shortstuff, who is the red Zerg in the lower right. And I'm just going to give away a little bit of a taster here. I know for a fact that the next games which we're going to cast, including this one, are absolutely incredible. So they're big macro games, so just if that's what you're into, keep watching. Now, what can we expect from these two players? Well, obviously Kas, I reckon he's going to go for probably a 1-Rax command center. Hell, he may even go for a command center first build. That's more likely considering his supply depot placement. He's not going for that wall off, and it wouldn't be uncommon at all for Kas to do that. He loves his command centers. He sometimes even does crazy stuff like goes command center, Rax command center. That's how bold he can be. Short stuff, he's probably going to go for a 15 hatch into a 16 pool, and then look at getting maybe 1 gas out for the essential upgrades and tech, get a quickish third to counteract Kas's natural, and then follow up. That's most likely. Kas is going for his Rax though, so not going too quickly into that command center. Now, of course, what do I like about going a 1-Rax command center build? Well, for a start, it obviously means that you're not going to have to worry about really having pressure put on, because 99% of the time a Zerg player will go for a 15 hatch. So, because you know, or you can basically assume that's going to happen, you know they're not going to be able to put on that pressure to you early on, which are gone on the days of back about a year ago now. Back in early days of SC2, you used to see obviously a wall off every time just in case some early Zergling push or something happened, but the emphasis is so much more so on getting that natural base up because it benefits you so much more and it reduces the risk of, what if they walled off. So that's all good. I don't really see Kas doing anything else. He hasn't taken any gas yet. He is proactively trying to go out and scout just to make sure. We do already have that spawning pool on its way out of short stuff, so that was a 16 pool. That's good timing. Now, while we're waiting for this to all go down, we do have Kas getting down his command center, so everything is right on track for where it should be and what I predicted would happen. Now, if you do like the cast, guys, then please subscribe, because I get new level game. I'll start again. I get new high-level games up every single day of the week, and basically I wouldn't want you to miss any. Also, the support would be amazing. Also, if you could like or thumbs up the videos, that'd be absolutely brilliant as well, because obviously the support really does help. So basically these two are going to go in for a much more longer game plan. Now, the interesting thing from Kas here is he's only got 1 gas. Usually if you see a 1-Rax command center, you see both gas taken pretty much simultaneously to try and catch up, to get reactor Hellions out, for example, and sometimes even cloak Banshee and reactor Hellions. So again, Kas really gearing himself up as if he's almost going to go for a 3rd CC really quick, which wouldn't be uncharacteristic from him. Now, taking a look down here at short stuff, he's literally doing nothing opposed to getting a lot of drones and a lot of queens. No gas yet taken at all, and I'm just really interested to see what Kas does with this first 100 gas. Probably going to throw down a factory. That's really the only thing he can do aside from get add-ons, but he could have got them sooner, so there goes down the factory. We should now hopefully see a reactor chuck down on this barracks just to start those reactor Hellions. Obviously not designed to do an awful lot of damage, but instead those reactor Hellions are really intended to keep the map controlled, deny scouting, take back the watchtower, and basically just keep short stuff on his toes. I mean, there's nothing worse than getting a entire, well, 6, maybe 8 Hellions come into your natural or even into your main and just decimate the mineral line. It can end the game right there. Now, as I thought, Kas getting a relatively early 3rd command center. Now, it's quite unlikely that he'll float this down to his 3rd base quite yet, but what will be beneficial is the extra SCV production and also the extra mule, because that's a lot of income and will also allow him to keep up and probably actually ahead of short stuff in terms of his income. So that'll give him the advantage going into the mid game, assuming he doesn't die. And not dying is a really good art form, but it's pretty much a cornerstone of StarCraft 2 in terms of if you can survive now with a bare minimum, that usually means you're going to have more or better things later on, and that's really the approach that Kas likes to take to the game, and I think it's a good approach. I think it really works. I love Kas's style. Short stuff, only now taking all 4 of his gas, or actually taking his 3rd and 4th gas. He took the gas in the natural first. That's quite an interesting choice, and the reason you see some players do that well, it's purely down to the fact that when a scout comes up, if it did get in, would see these two gas, and basically the opponent would assume that it's probably 4 gas because it's so characteristic to take the gas in your main first. The command center is getting morphed into an orbit command here up for Kas. 2 more racks are being added on. There's actually a tech lab, so no Hellions. Kas just doesn't really want to go down that route, just getting the tank in the siege mode, getting a defensive position, and to be honest I think that's a good move, purely because of the fact that he did get that 3rd CC very, very fast. He now is going to need to be very, very defensive. The 3rd base coming out for short stuff, but to be honest, it's not going to give him enough of an economical advantage with that orbit command there. And Kas, seriously, he has literally balls of steel, because he's going to go and take that 3rd expansion. He's taking it very, very early, and if he can hold it, it'll pay off, obviously, massively. But if he can't, it is a vulnerability, especially these rocks at the back with low tank count. Can be a bit difficult to hold. Good positioning of this tank here on the high ground. This covers an awful lot of and would be exceptionally difficult to get taken out. The other tank will probably go and position itself somewhere like here. That's just a good spot to be really, really defensive. Now, I'm taking a quick look around the base here, and obviously the 3rd base is about 2/3 done for short stuff, but the problem is he's now on equal bases again with Kas, and that really puts him in an awkward position of, well, on the one hand, I could go and try and take that out, but that involves a big commitment of units very early on. Alternatively, it's I've got to get a base up again, and that means taking a 4th, which really isn't the easiest thing in the world. The only 4th you can easily take is if you knock off those rocks and take this, but you've still got an awful long way to move your units to defend your 3rd as well, or the center ground. The problem with the center ground is obviously this high ground can cause problems if tanks get up there. So that again puts short stuff in a difficult position. He's getting the 1/1 upgrades out, so is Kas, so equal upgrade. Pathogen glands also on its way out for short stuff, and Kas is getting his 1st starport somewhere. Where is it? There we go. So the 1st starport on its way. Missile turrets also being built just out of habit more than anything else, I would imagine, because he's not scouted any information that would say he needs that. Looking at Kas's vision, all he knows is that Lair is down. A macro hatch coming down now for short stuff. That's probably the best option. It wouldn't be safe to take that 4th base quite yet, although he is going to go and get it, but obviously the macro hatch is a surefire way to go. And I mean, the creep spread from short stuff is absolutely amazing. When you think we're only, what, 10 minutes 20 into the game, and it's really just edging on halfway across the map. That's brilliant. That was purely got through the fact that he had Queen specifically for spreading creep early on, and what that is going to allow him to do is have an early warning system, and also obviously all the benefits of creep anyway, which is to have good unit control, faster units, better angles of attack, better surrounds, and will really, really help short stuff to defend. And also those quick resupplies is something which can be overlooked of having good creep spread. Now Spinecrawler is coming down in, well, the main and also the 3rd. No need for it in the natural particularly, because it's quite isolated, but the purpose of this is just if a drop comes down, it'll buy some time. Zergling's trying to knock out these rocks as quickly as they can. Takes an awfully long time, but that's fine. They have now just fallen. The creep spread's still doing absolutely miraculously. Great work by short stuff there. Now this overseer is going to see literally what's going on now. Stim is done, and we do have combat shield on the way. The 2/1 upgrades are coming out, and that's against 2/2 for short stuff. So Kas fractionally behind in terms of the upgrades, but if we look at the worker count, it's now 82 to 76. When you factor the fact there's 3 mules on the field at any one time, that makes this picture. Kas being a good amount ahead in terms of the mineral income, around 400 minerals a minute. Hive is on the way, so is the Spire, so short stuff just going straight away up to Broodlord Infester, which is pretty much all he needs to do. The other option of playing this, of course, is getting very heavy melee upgrades and really focusing on trying to get out in ultras very quickly with infestors, because then the fungal growth pins down marines, etc., and it goes well. Now this medevac is going to get picked off so easily, so infested terrans go down. There is the fungal growth. That is never fun times. Kas with a nice attempt there, but that medevac is gone, and that drop was really cleaned up effectively. But we do have another drop coming in simultaneously. The spore crawler is there, which can actually hit off on the medevac, so the medevac has to pull back. Marines will get cleaned up very quickly. Banelings don't want to be detonating there though, that would be bad times, so obviously not enough marines come together. But that was good drop defense by short stuff. But I think the drops in principle were great by Kas, because what they allowed him to do was really to pull back all of short stuff army, make him aware that he needs to be defending all of these bases, because Kas is aware they are all there, and most importantly it hopefully forced some units out of short stuff. But I mean, this counter attack could be effective if it's not scouted, but these Zerglings running straight into the face of danger, that is not a good plan, Zerglings. And of course Kas is now really hitting a very, very nice window of opportunity. He doesn't want to move on to the creep though, and you'll see this a lot, and this is why getting that amazing creep spread, which at 14 minutes is basically at the front door of Kas, is so effective, because no Terran player wants to go on to creep unless they have to, because it just makes Baneling and Zerglings surrounding the tanks and the Marines so easy. It's sick. Now, obviously, the Great Aspire is about to finish. Adrenal Glands on the way. It's a fantastic upgrade. Always should be got. Some Baneling hits go off, and that's a bit of a miscontrol out of Kas there. A bit disappointed to see that. Shouldn't have lost quite so much. We do have a big Zergling run by going on as well, and that Zergling counterattack is going to be very, very potent. All the tanks are being forced back at the moment. There's one tank there that gets picked off, and now the mineral line at the third is going to get completely decimated. There's no units around here in the slightest. Kas, meanwhile, is just moving forward, using that opportunity to try and push forward. We do have more tanks down here. We've got the fourth base about to get taken out, but all the drones are still there, but not too many. Compare that to the third base here, where the SCVs were having to fight directly on, and this is pretty sick. Everything is going on everywhere. This is crazy, and well, the tank backup is still there. That is potentially very, very vulnerable though. A new fourth base attempting to be taken, but of course, obviously, Kas has spotted that those two Marines were giving information on where everything was, and who came out worse there? Well, clearly Kas did in terms of the workers lost, but obviously a base was taken out. Kas has taken his own fourth base as well now, so again, back on level pegging with short stuff, that could pose a bit of a problem. They're working on 54 to 75 though, a bit more where short stuff would want it to be, and if we look at the resources lost, that also came out worse for Kas in terms of just pure money lost. Broodlords are on the field now. You see with so many Zerglings, those Zerglings are only 2-2. 3-3 is on the way. They do have Adrenal Glands though. That makes them so much more devastating. And well, this is all getting pretty mad pretty quickly. Kas is moving across the map as best he can. Needs to be a bit careful with what he does, because obviously the creep spread is still there, and if these Zerglings do get in while the tanks are on siege, that is big problems now. Some fungal growth go off on absolutely everything. Massive Baneling hits are going off, and a lot of tanks were cleaned up. We do have some Broodlings coming in from the side. Now, the tanks have to on siege when the Broodlords are there, because otherwise they end up just shelling their own units, because Broodlings are free, so the Broodlords just keep shooting them out. The tanks then target them with siege mode and basically blow up all their own units, which is never fun times. 3-3 infantry weapon and armors on the way out for Kas as well now. Obviously 3-3 Marines are very potent. We've got Vikings on the way now, and that's off of a lot of starport. There's 1, 2, 3 starports, one with a reactor. That's going to really help counteract this Broodlord force. And I mean, the Broodlord's only 4 in the field, so Kas does need to be a bit careful with how many Vikings he gets out. He's getting 4 at a time, but he doesn't want to overcommit a lot of his supply to Vikings unless they're going to do something in particular. Now, we did see here that base picked off by a drop, very effective, I must say, and basically that's going to mean that essentially short stuff is stuck on 4 bases, equal with Kas, and of course short stuff has no clue, as far as I'm aware, that base is even down there, so that's going to cause some problems. Obviously it's a planetary fortress as well, so it's not just a case of a couple of Zerglings will pick it off. They are going to come and spot it though. This is just great scouting going off everywhere, but obviously the planetary fortress will pick it off, but we could see a big commitment of forces, a drop coming in here, but will get scouted by that single Zergling, so we should see some units pull back. There's also that spine spore and a handful of units defending the third base. That's great, but look at all these units moving over. They're essentially getting ready to get in a very defensive position for that 4th base now. The drop did land down, it picked something off, but not much, I don't think, and basically again having to engage on creep, not fun in the slightest. Look at this army out of short stuff. It is a very potent army, just so many corruptors. They're going to engage straight on the Vikings, pulling back. They don't want to get too close. Some massive fungal growth going off of those Marines. Literally all of the Marines picked off with fungal growth. That is absolutely devastating. Just look at how much damage is being done here. Hiding the health bars just so you can see the carnage going on, and short stuff is definitely coming out in favour here. Those Vikings getting torn up. Now all the tanks have gone, the Broodlords are completely safe, and in my opinion that could pretty much be it. I don't see how Kas is going to be able to defend the onslaught. 72 Zerglings resupplying, and that is precisely what you want to do in this situation. You know you've crushed your opponent's force, so just get a lot of the cheapest thing you can, which is quickest built, and basically just go and flood them and counterattack, 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 because the Zerglings alone can deal with this force. They're 3-3 Zerglings with Adrenal Glands. That's very potent. A drop trying to come down here, but of course with the spine in position, that could cause some problems. Some great pick up and drop micro going on there. We do have some Zerglings poking around. This 4th base of Kas about to go down very hard to these Broodlords. Essentially, there's nothing you can do about that. Basically, this waiting ball of Zerglings may just try and run in, and of course, if that's not noticed by Cass, which it appears it won't be, that could be a bit late. The wall tries to go up, but there's nothing there, and now, obviously, add-ons or production facilities could get taken out quite quickly. The fourth base going to go. Basically, there is Cass GGing out, so that was really good play by shortstuff. It all came down to that big engagement in my opinion. But anyway, that was game 1, guys. If you did enjoy, please subscribe, thumbs up, follow me on Twitter, leave a cool comment, and then flick over to my channel, and I'll see you at game 2 any second. Bye for now.